Josh D'Amaro, and I don't know who else was with him.
There was a lot of people there.
There was a lot of people there. I know
Yeah.
Robert Downey Jr. showed up.
Yeah.
John Favreau showed up.
Yeah.
But they went to the South by Southwest conference, which if you don't know what that is, it's like in Austin, Texas. It's kind of like a technology conference. Businesses will go there to kind of share innovative things. But Disney went there, and they made some presentations and announcements and offered some behind-the-scenes look at some of the upcoming attractions that they had showed that they're going to build from D23. And they called it the Future of World Building at Disney panel.
Yeah, so a couple of things we learned was that the Mandalorian and Grogu update that's coming to Millennium Falcon Smuggler's Run is going to begin May 22nd, 2026. That coincides with the day the movie comes out.
That must be a coincidence.
A coinky-dink. I thought it was supposed to be this year. Is that what they originally announced, or was that just coming soon?
I think it got delayed. I don't know. Lucasfilm has constantly got stuff delayed, so
I know they
delayed.
move dates around a lot and whatever, but I thought that was going to start sooner. But anyway, so it'll be coming to like when you're actually like doing the ship, like piloting the ship and everything. I'm assuming. I haven't done this ride in a long time.
I really wish they would actually change this more to Star Tours, where it's a simulator that you can kind of participate in somewhat. Because if you're not the pilot, let's be honest, if you're not the pilot, it's not near as much fun. But they are going to have like a different thing. I'm assuming you're still going to have the same system where you can pilot it and things like that. But it's a different story, which I think is
it's a good idea.
I think they should do this like Star Tours and have multiple different things that you can do each time. I think that would be really cool.
That would be really cool. We also learned that the Cars attraction that's coming to Magic Kingdom, the ride vehicle concepts, they kind of showed us what the ride vehicles are going to look like. And they showed a video of them testing the off-roading track. And it was just kind of like a dirt road. And they had like ATVs or four-wheelers kind of going around a track to show kind of what it would be like, I guess.
Well, they built a BMX motocross course, and then they took essentially gators out on it. And they said they were doing it for testing because this is going to be a dirt track based ride. Now, I don't think it's going to actually be dirt, but they were doing that. Now, I will say first off, they made a massive mistake right off the bat. Could have saved them a lot of money on this because they had, all the Imagineers were in there doing their off-roading thing.
Uh-huh.
You could have just went and got yourself a good trusty redneck. He would have taken you out to do some off-roading.
Goodness.
Would have been a little dangerous, but you give that guy a case of beer and he'll show you a really good time, and you could have learned a lot about off-roading, and then he'd be able to tell you more than you would ever learn by just going out and messing with it yourself. So I think first off, you should have done that.
Well, he's got to have a toothpick in his mouth.
He's explaining it.
Yeah,
he's going to have a toothpick. He's going to have a mullet. He's also going to have a flannel shirt that has no sleeves and is probably unbuttoned.
I don't think a mullet is needed, but I will go with the flannel shirt.
I trust him more.
Honestly, I picture someone like the Larry the Cable Guy.
Yeah.
And it's Mater, which is hilarious, and this is Car. So perfect. Just imagine that.
Yeah. And if something breaks down, he's going to fix it immediately. He's going to know exactly what to do.
It is going to be a track system. It's on a track.
Not trackless.
It's not going to be trackless. And they actually talked about this in the latest episode of We Call It Imagineering. And it was all about like ride vehicles and stuff. So just FYI. I
don't know. This one is very interesting because it's there's a lot more question marks around this ride versus some of the other things that they announced. I would say outside Villains Land. I'd say we know the most about Monsters Inc. and over there in Tropical America is going into Animal Kingdom.
Well, and I'm curious to see how everything is going to work out and when they're actually going to like officially start, because they haven't announced. They
have not announced. They got the approval from Florida to move forward with it.
That's right.
That would be the demolition of the rivers. That is part of that. I'm sure is going to go into the land development for Villains Land. But it's very interesting. But on the topic also of Monsters Inc., they showed a little bit of a behind the scenes of the door ride that they announced that they're going to do for Monsters Inc. They showed the load station. Yeah, it was just an animatic. So like they showed. What's an animatic?
So they do this a lot for concepts of like rides or even movies. James Cameron does this a lot.
They're actually called animatics?
They're called animatics.
I did not know.
James Cameron does this. Michael Bay does this. So they'll create the scene they're wanting to show using like very, very elementary animation.
Right.
And so they were showing the animatics of this ride vehicle. And it's the first ever vertical lift system. So you like load into the little chairs. I don't know how to say it. They look like chairs.
I think they're just a chair. I mean, you're sitting in it. You're suspended. So.
And then you're harnessed in. And is it over the shoulder or is
I'm sure it's over.
I think it's over the shoulder.
Yeah.
And then they raise you up, turn you, and then you go up or you go into a different room, kind of like they did in the movie.
Yeah,
I mean, the doors go into the movie.
Yeah, I've got an overlay. If you're watching this on YouTube, you can see the animation here.
Yeah.
But from that, I was like, okay, I'm very intrigued by that because the door ride is something people have said wanted for a long time. So that part was cool that they showed, and they are showing more. It's kind of interesting. I don't recall, and I might be wrong, I don't recall Imagineering showing this much behind the scenes, like especially this early, like ever.
It's really early, yeah.
And part of it, I wonder if, I think it may be twofold. I think they're trying to get people to stay like engaged with this this stuff's not going to come online for years. So I think they're trying to get everybody like involved, invested in this to go along, which is going to be difficult. And obviously, I think they're doing that because obviously, Universal has a new park they're opening this year. And so they're trying to, maintain a fan base and showing them behind the scenes stuff, which that part is interesting. But it's also, too, I wonder if it's also they're trying to perhaps rehabilitate, the Imagineering sort of name. Because obviously, the last few years, there's been some question marks around Imagineering. I mean, really, for the last 5 to 10 years, a lot of people have said, Imagineering is not what it used to be. So I kind of think it's twofold of that, of like they're also trying to bring the name of Imagineering back. So I'm curious how much they're going to show going forward. Because, even at this process, like you look at the dirt track thing in Magic Kingdom, it's very, very early on.
Yeah.
Like I don't think they really even know. They're given some tidbits, but I don't think they actually have a complete track layout necessarily, what they're going to do maybe. But yeah, so that part, it's very interesting. So they showed some stuff there. And I will be very curious if it's ongoing. Maybe they do it through Disney Plus on the Imagineering show that they have there.
Never know.
Yeah. I imagine the next D23s are going to be a lot of this type of stuff, though.
Destination D23 is this year at Walt Disney World in August. So I'm sure we'll get more then.
Yeah.